Hey, what's up guys? Tom from Positively Diagnostics. Today we're working on a 2002 Volkswagen Passat. This vehicle was towed in and the only information I got was that there was a security issue. So there was no power to the car, the positive battery pin was disconnected. Let me show you what I found when I connected the positive battery terminal. Alright guys, so this is the dash. This is with the terminal connected and we have an immobilizer light flashing, but let me show you this. Both of the keys are in my hand. There's no key in this ignition. Put one in, key on, key off, no change. Keys out, no change. And I have to say that this ignition switch just doesn't feel right when I turn the key. That dinging is annoying. Just doesn't feel right. But the key's out right now. So as you can see right here, the dash is on. Both keys are in my hand. I have this lower cover pulled off. Suspecting maybe an ignition switch issue, something along the lines of that. And what I need to do is get a wiring diagram, and we'll see where the power feed comes in on this ignition switch and what power feeds go out when the key is in different positions. So let me get a wiring diagram and we will look at these power feeds. So I got the wiring diagram. Right here is our ignition switch. And I've highlighted, these are the two power feeds coming in. There should be power on those all the time. So key on, engine off. And when the key's in the on position, we should have power coming down this. This would be our terminal 15 wire. It goes over to the dash, or the cluster. So pretty much, I'm just going to take a test light and we'll go to ground and we'll touch on these two, and we'll touch on a few of these other ones with the key in the off position, and my guess is we're going to have power on most of these when we shouldn't. So these green ones, we should have battery positive all the time, no matter what, and the only time we will get power on this wire is with the key in the on position. So I'm just going to leave the key out for these tests. Pins 3 and 7, they're red wires. We have power on that one. And the other red wire, we have power on that one. So our terminal 15 wire is a black wire. It's pin 6. Now guys, both keys are right here. They're not in. The dash is on. So the black wire, we have power on the black wire. We should not have power right now. We should only have power on this wire with the key on. Other ones here, 86S, pin 8, that's a red wire. Seeing a red and black. Red and black looks like it goes to maybe one of the starter relays. Don't have power on that one. Want to take this key, open this key in. And this ignition switch, it doesn't even feel like it has like a detent for the start. It goes all the way to start. It just doesn't feel right. So I'm turning the key all the way to the start position. This is our starter wire, or one of the wires that would go to a relay. There's nothing on that one. Let's see what these yellows are. This yellows and black right here This is our terminal 75. We should not have power on there right now. We do. This is looking like a faulty ignition switch. Alright guys, so the key's still out. I'm going to unplug this. Keep your eyes on the dash. It's unplugged. And we just lost our dash. So we should only have 2 power feeds. Here, here. Nothing on any of the other ones. Alright guys, so it looks like this is just a faulty ignition switch. The next thing I want to check, pull the old one out and just make sure that our lock cylinder is actually moving, everything mechanical is okay in there. So I'm going to pull this old ignition switch out, make sure everything's good, and make the call. Alright, so this is our electrical portion of this ignition switch. There are 2 little screws underneath these red paint marks. You just got to scratch these paint marks off. And there are 2 really small flat heads in there. You just loosen those up and you pull this electrical part out. I need to go get a smaller flat head. So you just unscrew these little guys. And pull the switch out. Alright, so the switch is out. I wanted to make sure that small piece right in the center, right there, is going to turn when I turn this key. So I'm turning the key right now and it is not turning. So here's the ignition switch. I'm just going to plug this in real quick. Those 2 line up there, those 2 line up there. And you can see our dash, everything just came back on. I don't know if you guys can see that. See our dash all just came back on, it's making noises. What I want to do take this test light. So this is our key on ignition power. This should only have power when the key's in the on position or when it's running. And there's no key in it right now. And we have power there. So what I want to do is take a flathead screwdriver. I'll go on the other side of this ignition switch right here and turn this back. And we'll see if we lose power there. I'm going to turn this back. So I just turned it off with this screwdriver. So our problem is inside this ignition housing. Let's turn this on. Turning it on right now. So I just got a flathead. I'm gonna turn it off. Turned off right now. Turned on. And you can't see it right now, but our immobilizer light isn't flashing. The reason that was flashing before was because we didn't have a good key inside the reader coil. bet you I could start this car. There you go. Oh, it starts and runs. Shut it off. Sweet. Alright guys, so the problem with this car, the ignition switch is good. It is the actual ignition housing. It is mechanically broken. I guess somewhere inside there where the tumbler connects to the actual housing that turns to rotate this ignition switch somehow just broke off in there, and this is what you got. So it was stuck in the on position when it broke. So we just pulled this ignition switch out and we can turn the key on. Right now we can start the car. And we can turn it off. And now we have no power on any other feeds other than our main terminal 30 from the battery and our other terminal 30 from the battery. No other wires have power now. So faulty ignition housing will make the call. Doesn't need an ignition switch. It is the actual mechanical housing that the tumbler sits in, that this ignition switch sits in. So all done with just a test light and a wiring diagram. So I hope you guys enjoy this video, and thanks for watching. Alright guys, got the new ignition housing in. Came with the new ignition switch. So the key's off right now. Key on. Vehicle starts and runs. And the key's off again. So this vehicle's fixed.